blessings provided to us by our residence in this great country and by our belonging to this faith community, we are always seeking reconciliation and justice with the First Peoples and the ongoing custodians of the countries of this great continent. And we acknowledge particularly the Turrbal people of these lands and waterways, and we thank them for their hospitality and the privilege of using their word to describe our great school, Nudgee. As always, we have a packed agenda this morning with lots of really great things to show you and for you to participate in. We will introduce our first basketball, first chess and first rugby teams for this winter season. We will celebrate some of the activities from the holidays. But first of all, as always, we will begin with prayer.
Good morning, staff and students, and welcome back to Semester 2. Gentlemen, you will no doubt know that this is very much my first week of Semester 2 as well, but I was very fortunate when looking at my timetable for this week to note that the first lesson I taught was yesterday morning, and it was a Year 7 religion class. And the content that we're exploring in religion this term is this idea of ritual and tradition and what it means. And for me personally, there's been no greater example of a school that exposes ritual and tradition as being important than my first 6 months at Nudgee. Gentlemen, I'm incredibly excited to continue that journey of learning about Nudgee this term. And one of the things I'm particularly excited about is being witness to some of the Term 3 sporting activities that Mr. Morris just alluded to. When I think of Nudgee, and when I was doing a little bit of research on Nudgee College prior to my interview last year, an image that popped up for me that I found extremely profound was one of our first 15 team kneeling down in front of an absolutely packed Ross Oval grandstand saying the Hail Mary. The image might pop up for you in a moment, and it's something that no doubt you will see over the course of the next few months as you yourself, both home and away, regardless of whether you're in the first 15 or whether you're in the 13 E's, partake in a very powerful ritual called the praying of the Hail Mary prayer. And I encourage our basketballers to potentially explore an opportunity, just as many other sporting codes have done over the course of this last year. But what I wanted to take the opportunity to do this morning, gents, was to talk to you about why we do that prayer. Because it's not a case of worshipping Mary, because as Catholics we don't worship Mary, we only worship God. However, we honour Mary and the very powerful role that she had in raising Jesus to be the person that he was. So the saying of the Hail Mary isn't about an introduction to a war cry or praying that Mary helps us beat Churchy. Because if we were praying to try and help Mary make us win, those prayers have fallen on deaf ears quite a few times. The prayer is very much one that encourages Mary to look out for us just as she did her own son Jesus. Because I think it's an incredibly sacred relationship, that one between a mother and their son. It's a relationship that no other part of humanity can replicate. And this relationship and respect for women and for our mums is something that all of us understand and that's been a part of Nudgee College since its inception in 1891. And I want to tell you a little bit about a story of that. The highest point of our college, geographically, the highest part of our school is Mary's Tower, and it's found on top of the Tracy building. And at the very top of Mary's Tower, there is a statue of Jesus' mother Mary. It wasn't put there in 1891 when Patrick Ambrose Tracy built the school, but the replication of the tower was there right from almost the start, because it was meant to mimic a tower that's found in Dublin in a place called Marino College, where all the Christian brothers were taught to be teachers. So when Tracy and Bodkin arrived here in 1891, they wanted Nudgee College to maybe look a little bit like the building where they'd learned to do their trade in Ireland. And you may be able to see some parallels between the two buildings in the image there. one thing you may notice is that at the very top of each of those buildings there is a statue, and that statue is of Mary. So when we pray the Hail Mary before our games this term, remember we're doing it to try and rekindle that idea of our respect for our mums, our respect for women, and that wonderful caring nature that Mary herself would have had toward Jesus. Gentlemen, if each of you would look at your thumbnail now, you'll notice that it's not particularly large. That thumbnail is basically the same size as a little medal, which is called the Miraculous Medal of Mary, which I want to talk to you about briefly now. Because later in this assembly, our first 15 rugby team are going to be presented. They may well hold their jerseys for the first time. And unbeknownst to many of you, sewn in behind the crest that sits on the first 15 jersey is an actual small piece of metal called the Miraculous Medal of Mary. That piece of metal is sewn there on the heart of the boys' jersey to remind them of why we're doing what we do. To try and bring honour to our school, bring honour to our traditions. And that medal, again, is not so that we win. It's the hope that Mary can continue to provide us as Nudgee men with protection and care. It's not about the glory of victory. It's about hoping that everything is done safely and that we can all return to our life journey at the end. Because, gentlemen, if I bring you back to that very first image that I showed you, the one of the first 15 praying before the packed Ross grandstands, we pray to pay homage to our Catholic story with reverence. It reminds us of the idea of respect for Mary, for the traditions of our school, for the deep admiration that the brothers had for Mary, even going back 134 years. So, gentlemen, my request to you is this: whether you're the first or whether you're the 13Es, before you run onto that field this term, when you bow together and you make the sign of the cross and you say that Hail Mary, know that you're doing it for protection. Know that you're doing it for blessing. Know that you're doing it to pay homage to tradition so that you may exit that field safely, knowing that you've given your all for our college. And gentlemen, therefore, for our prayer this morning, I think it's very apt that together we say that wonderful prayer which you will say this Saturday, the Hail Mary. So if you join with me, please, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And live Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Gentlemen, just before I pass over to Mr. Mara, I just want to really try and commence this term by reminding you of some of the beautiful things we see throughout our year at Nudgee under that vein of a culture of kindness. I've got 3 really powerful examples, but I probably could have had 33, such has been the amount of students and staff that have emailed me saying, hey, did you hear about this? The first example I want to show you of a culture of kindness being prevalent at Nudgee was from last week at the rugby launch. There's a student pictured there in Year 8. His name is Zane. And you may note that around a group of 13, 14, 15-year-old boys there who are no doubt queuing up excitedly to get on a ride, there are a series of small kids, maybe no older than 7, 8, 9. And at one particular time, the instructor of the ride said, okay, come on through the next group. And a large group of boys excitedly tried to rush so they could take a seat. Zane took it upon himself to be a leader, to say, stop, wait, let's have these little kids get through safely first. They weren't necessarily at the front of the line, but he knew that at that time they needed his care, his guidance, his kindness so they weren't hurt. And the instructor of the ride and a witnessing parent made a point of going over to a staff member and saying, hey, that's pretty impressive, that element of kindness and understanding. The second image I've got is potentially even more amazing. This is from term 1, and I want to preface things by saying I don't expect every Nudgee student to do this, and if ever you were going to, you would 100% have to be aware of your own safety before thinking about, I need to be the hero of kindness. But last term there was an accident on the corner of Sandgate Road, where Ross Oval is, across from Big Dad's Pies, I believe. And a driver of a car ended up crashing the vehicle into a pole, into a post. Obviously a large noise, a whole lot of commotion, a whole lot of panic. At that time, there happened to be 3 of our boarders in Year 10, Quinlan, Cade and Declan, who were witnesses to that. And without even really thinking about themselves, which I'm encouraging you to do, they ensured that people involved in the accident were safe. They were the first responders. They ran over to the vehicle, checking on the well-being of those inside the car. For me, that idea of kindness is no more evident than in what Quinlan and Cade and Declan did. And the final act of kindness, gentlemen, is in no way likely to appear on a television program like those boys showed. But this one is just as important. I want to use it as a little bit of a reminder. I've blacked out the names just to not embarrass the student. But basically, gentlemen, this is an email from a staff member who was informing me that at an end of a recent playground duty, they saw a group of students simply stand up, leave their rubbish behind and rush off to class. One student, who's in Year 9, took it upon himself to not simply clean up his own rubbish, but to fix up the mess of all of his mates as well, so that we are doing that idea of stewardship and Laudato Si that Pope Francis spoke about so passionately. I remind you, because I don't think our kick-off yesterday was great, please look after our beautiful schoolyards, use the bins around you, and place all of your rubbish away so that our place remains one of beauty and something we can be incredibly proud of. Gentlemen, thank you for your attention. I look forward to seeing the rugby and the basketball this semester. I look forward to seeing those Hail Mary prayers being done respectfully and reverently, and I wish you all the very best for the term. I now pass over to Mr. Mara. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waugh. You will remember at the end of last term, I spoke to you about the departing staff and how that coming and going, the seasons, and those that make up our community form that waft and weave of the great tapestry that is Nudgee College. And so the next step today would be to welcome new staff to our community and to thank them for embracing with generosity the invitation to be a part of your academic learning future. First of all, can I welcome Mr. Hamish Smith, who will be teaching junior maths, middle school maths. Some of the boarders would remember Mr. Smith as a boarding supervisor, and some of us of a much older age would remember Mr. Smith because he is one of your 10,000 brothers, having finished here in 2019. Next, I welcome Ms. Hannah Mort. Ms. Mort joins us from Iona College to teach 9, 11 and 12 mathematics, and we thank her likewise. We also welcome Mr. Simon Martin, who joins us from Ambrose Tracy College to be Head of Service Learning, taking the place of Mr. O'Connor, and he'll also be teaching some ITS and some design and technology. Can you please make them most welcome? While I'm here, I also wish to congratulate Mr. Isaac Freeman on his appointment as our new track and field director, and wish Mr. Freeman, the track and field staff and the track and field squad all the best for the upcoming GPS season. And I also thank, for her return to the college, Mrs. Sian Kennedy, who will be filling in for Mr. Michael Ford for a few weeks while Mr. Ford takes a well-earned break this term.
Over the holidays, like many of you, I spent my fair share of time scrolling through TikTok and binge watching TV shows and footy games. During one of those scrolls, I came across a clip of elite athlete and WNBA star Caitlin Clark. Curiosity got the better of me, and before I knew it, I'd fallen down a rabbit hole of highlights and stories, not just of her incredible talent, but of the adversity she's faced. From being targeted on the court by opponents, to facing relentless criticism in the media, and even dealing with injuries that challenge her mentally and physically, Caitlin has endured a lot. But through it all, she's continued to play at the highest level, remains one of the WNBA's brightest stars, and most importantly, has stayed true to who she is. Similarly, in recent weeks, nudgy old boy Rob Toyer, class of 22, made his debut in State of Origin and played a part in Queensland's winning campaign. Rob, a friend to many of us here and a former student to several teachers and coaches in this very room, is a shining example of persistence, resilience, and character. While his footy career is thriving now, his path to success has been anything but easy. In 2022, during the Churchy game, Rob ruptured his ACL, cutting short his nudgy rugby journey. After months of recovery, tragedy struck again. He ruptured his other ACL, forcing him back into rehab. And just when it seemed he was finally on the comeback trail, he suffered yet another setback, a broken jaw. 3 major injuries, countless missed trainings, long periods away from the game he loved, and no doubt immense mental and emotional pressure. Yet through it all, Rob never gave up. His determination never wavered. He kept showing up, kept doing the work, and kept believing. His recent success isn't just a proud moment for him, it's a testament to what resilience, hard work, and self-belief can achieve. As a community, we celebrate Rob not just for what he's accomplished, but for what he represents, the power of persistence and the strength of the nudgy spirit. Talofa lava, Mr. Thompson, CLT, staff, parents, and my fellow nudgy brothers. I share the stories of Caitlin Clark and Rob Toyer this morning to inspire you all as we enter a new term, one known for its challenges and intensity. Both Rob and Caitlin faced moments when giving up would have been easy, but instead, they embraced the setbacks, using them as fuel to grow stronger. They didn't let failure define them, they turned it into an opportunity to learn, improve, and persevere. Their journeys remind us that true success is built through resilience and grit. As we begin a new semester, we all know how demanding Term 3 can be. Balancing co-curricular commitments with academics can feel overwhelming. In these moments, we often forget to pause, which leads to burnout and added stress. But like Rob and Caitlin, we must learn to turn challenges into lessons. Approach everything with optimism, because falling short isn't failure, it's growth. Even in tough times, believe in yourself. Trust your ability to keep going, no matter what others think. Negativity clouds the present and holds back your future. So this term, I challenge you, stay positive, embrace the struggle, and most importantly, believe in yourself. That belief is where greatness begins. From the words of Mr. Fulliger and the words Oscar expressed last year, we often refer to Term 3 as a premiership quarter, the quarter where the game is decided, where the winning team makes their move. Now is the time to go that extra mile, to put in that extra hour of study, to arrive at training early and be the last one to leave. It's about pushing through challenges and staying committed to your goals. Because in the end, success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who are willing to outwork everyone else. When this term ends, only you will know whether you truly gave it your all. So don't just turn up, show up. Don't just try harder, try smarter. And always remember, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. For me, Term 3 is when nudgy spirit truly comes alive. It's a grandstand packed in blue and white, shoulder to shoulder, brother to brother. It's the echo of 10,000 old boys carried by the walls of Dewig, the silence that falls over Ross Oval. The first 15 walks out in single file. The goosebumps as the team huddles in front of the roaring crowd. That is nudgy spirit. Whether it's chess on Friday, first basketball at 12:15, or first rugby at 2:30, when the war cry echoes and the nudgy crowd erupts, you won't want to be the one who missed it. We stand on the shoulders of giants, 10,000 brothers who came before us, who built this culture of brotherhood we're proud to uphold. It's a legacy of strength and pride, one that we are called to unite as one to showcase authentic spirit for those who will come after us. Whether you've just begun your journey at Nudgy or nearing its end, we each have a duty to contribute to that legacy, to ensure that every player who steps onto that court or field does so surrounded by a sea of blue and white, not just teammates, but brothers. And that legacy continues this Saturday at State High. For chess, the underdog story begins. For our first 6, the hunt for redemption begins. For our first 15, the pursuit of a 46 premiership begins. Just a heads up that we are selling wristbands with the 2025 motto on them starting next week. They're $2 each, and all proceedings go towards a foundation of Mrs. Leagood's choosing. I also encourage all those Year 11s beginning their leadership journeys to get involved with social justice programs. I wish everyone a great first week of Term 3. Whawhetai te lava, to whaasoi fua, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, special guests, staff, parents, and welcome back to all our Nudgy students. I hope you had a great holiday with your families, and I hope you're ready for and excited for a great Term 3. My name is Brett Page, and I'm the tennis director here at Nudgy College. Nudgy, we just wrapped up our Term 2 tennis season. Another strong season for all of our teams. Probably too many highlights to list in general, but I did put down a couple. Our first four finished third, a podium finish was the pre-season goal. The boys competed incredibly hard, a little battle with the weather back and forth, but our boys stayed there all day trying to make sure we get all of our matches on and competed to the very end, no matter what the conditions were. So third place finish for the first. Highlight amongst the first was our number one player, Pratik Navin, Year 11 student who played number one singles and went through undefeated for the season, so therefore makes him the best tennis player in GPS. So that's an amazing achievement, so well done, Pratik. We also had three other teams that went through undefeated, the Year 8As, the Year 10As and the 10Bs. And the majority of all our other teams finished top three. But one thing that I'm most proud of is all of our teams, whether we finished top three or lower on the ladder, everybody tried for every point, everybody worked really hard, and everybody gave it their best. As I said, a lot of people to thank. The behind the scenes that goes on with all the Nudgy sports is incredible. So way too many people to thank individually, but just for the whole Nudgy community, thank you so much for all of our parents, staff, and any of the support crew that help out all the GPS sports. As coaches, we really appreciate it, that's for sure. But primarily today, I'm here to announce the Team Man Awards. One person per team gets nominated by the coaches as somebody who embellishes or what we would think the Team Man Award should stand for. These young men have stood out for their commitment, their reliability, respect for teammates, coaches, opponents, and for always giving it their best, both on and off the court. If I could just invite Mr. Thompson to the stage. Thank you, sir. I'll read the winners out in two blocks, years 5 through 8, and then we'll give them a round of applause, and then we'll go 9 through 12 after that. Year 5s, Hugo Vidavine, Cooper Davis, Lachlan Coverdale, Hudson Wright. Year 6, Owen Palmer, Will Hacking, Perry Conway, George Wood. Year 7, Hudson Coote, Sam Herbert, Will Stanford, Cam Muir-McGarry. And Year 8, Johnny Chappell, Max Stevenson, Johnny Eden Spencer, Stephen Minio. Congrats, boys. Year 9 through 12. Year 9, Oliver Cito, Lachlan Kovac, Henry Palmer, Ben Horcroft. Year 10, Sid Bates, Jeho De Gea, Isaac Ganame, Sam O'Farrell. Year 11, Ed Gary, Charlie Reithmuller, Archer Jenkins. And Year 12, Davis Sturrock. Congrats, boys. Again, just a big thank you for everyone involved in all the coordination of our sport. From the tennis side, we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate everyone coming down and supporting us through our season. I want to wish all the Term 3 sports the best of luck, and everyone participating in extracurricular activities, all the best for this term. And if I can please invite Mr. Jamie Pybus to the stage. Thanks, Mr. Pybus. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, staff, parents and Nudgee gentlemen. Our football director, Mr. Condon, is currently in a GPS football season review meeting, so I'm rolling back the years, having spent 11 years as football director, to do a quick football season wrap and to present our Football Team Man Awards for 2025. So I'll read here mostly in Mr. Condon's words rather than my own. Another memorable year for Nudgee football. Over 600 players, plenty of boys playing football for the first time, as well as plenty of talented, more experienced players. Our Year 5 cohort in their first season made a fantastic impression, and it was great to see them not only involved on the field, but also around the first 11 as mascots and ball boys on Ross Oval. We also celebrate the return of so many students who have been part of the Nudgee football journey for years, continuing to contribute to a strong sense of tradition and community within our programme. We also welcome back our Tottenham coach, Sonny, in his 6th year of the Tottenham Hotspur partnership, and of course, great to see Tottenham pick up their first trophy in 17 years under Australian coach Ange Postecoglou. A few standout moments from the 2025 season included Tottenham Hotspur Player and Coach Development Programme, Edmund Rice pre-season tournament, all-age camps, football launch, post-match function, and of course, that fantastic away game at Churchie with a fantastic crowd and a first 11 competition that swung in our favour with a big win against the competition favourites. Various Nudgee Team of the Weeks getting their run on Ross Oval. A first 11 premiership victory, of course, on the final day against Terrace. Nudgee's 12th GPS title in overall and 3rd in 4 years, and a moment that will live long in the memory. Of course, the season wouldn't be possible without the incredible efforts of our support teams, and a particular thank you to any teaching staff involved in that programme this year. Finally, to our Year 12 boys who finished their Nudgee football journey, thank you for your commitment, your leadership, and the example you've set, and we hope to welcome you back in the future in a coaching capacity. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Thompson to the stage to present the 2025 Nudgee Football Team Man Awards. If you could please hold your applause here, and of course I'll start with our Year 5s and 6s. 5A, Xavi Grenwell. 5B, Josh Phillips. 5B, Hayden Gosney. 5C, Riley Jones. 5D, Josh Phillips. 5E, Harvey Larkin. And 5F, Jasper Wright. 6A, Jack McAndrew. 6B, Tom Simpson. 6C, Miles Thomas. 6D, Mason Magic. 6E, Louis Carroll. And 6F, Luke Cura. Please put your hands together for our Year 5 and 6 Nudgee team. And Year 7, 7A, Finn Mulligan. 7B, Blake Tuberville. 7C, Levi Keast. 7D, Harrison Mullins. 7E, Hayden Brennan. 8A, Will Thomas. 8B, Mitch Halpin. 8C, Matthew Eslick. 8D, Jack Mowat. 8E, Hayden Mullins. 8F, Thomas Carter. Our Year 7 and 8 Nudgee team men. Year 9, our 9A, Danny Dawes, I believe, is away today. 9B, Eamon Warhurst. 9C, Charlie Hare. 9D Eddie Ball, 10A Corin Driver, 10B Nicholas Ellum, 10C Luca Fox, and 10D Finn Aylman, who is absent as well. Please put your hands together for our Year 9 and 10 Nudgy team members. And Year 11, Jeremy Deakin, 11A. 11B, Andre De Clara. 11C, Finn McGregor. And 11D, Hayden Burke. And Year 12, second 11, Oliver McLucas. Third 11, Hunter Thomas. Fourth 11, Hayden Hamilton, not here today. And fifth 11, Will Robinson. Our Year 11 and 12 Nudgy team men. So finally, congratulations to all those tennis and football team men, and indeed to everyone contributing to that Term 2 seasons. I'd like to make a final particular mention to the efforts of the tennis first four under the leadership of Riley Jensen, a fantastic third place finish, and hard not to highlight again the efforts of our number 1 seed Pratik, who won every single game in singles and doubles across the season, which is an outstanding achievement. And of course our first 11 football squad, who I mentioned briefly earlier, who after 4 rounds found themselves with just 1 victory on the board and with several key players ruled out for the season with injuries. It was a season that tested the character of the whole squad and those around them, and to bounce back with 5 big wins on the bounce to share a premiership with Brisbane Grammar was a terrific show of resilience. So I'd now like to invite Mr. Thompson back to the stage. Oh, there he is. And also our first 11 captain, Jackson O'Reilly, to present the first 11 football GPS trophy. Thank you, gents. We now move on to Term 3 sport, and close to 1,000 boys have been working hard in pre-season and over the holidays in preparation for rugby and basketball seasons. Good luck to all boys representing Nudgy this year, whether that's in the 5F team or the 4th 15. And I'd particularly like to wish our first team captains Levi and Callum and their squads the best for the season. I'll now introduce our basketball director, Mr. McInerney.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, members of the CLT, invited guests, staff, parents and students. I'm Patrick McInerney. I'm the basketball director and first 5 coach for this year. I am honoured to be up here and welcoming everyone to the 2025 GPS basketball season. This has been my first year at Nudgy College, and I've thoroughly enjoyed watching all the boys in the program listen, learn, compete and improve throughout our pre-season. How hard all the boys have worked has set us up to have a great GPS season, which I'm really excited about. During our skills clinic in the holidays, I asked the boys in one of the off-court sessions if they felt pride in representing Nudgy. I asked this question of all boys in year 5 all the way through to year 12. The consistent theme from all of them was yes, they do feel a ton of pride in putting on the Nudgy jersey on a Saturday. They spoke about how they are representing all the boys at the college and also all the boys that have come before them. The best part for me was how they spoke of it being a privilege to represent Nudgy College. This highlighted to me that all the boys in our program understand it is an honour to be on the court on a Saturday, and it is something that they earn through hard work and commitment. I'm very keen to see this hard work continue throughout the season, during the week at training, and of course on Saturday at games. I would like to introduce the basketball captain, Callum Stanton, to say a few words and introduce the first 5 team.
Good morning, CLT, staff, and my fellow Nudgy brothers. I'm Callum Stanton, your 2025 first captain. This year is shaping up to be a great one through rigorous preparation and The boys have been consistently pushing their limits and improving. We've got a game at 12:15, and I'd love to see on Saturday against State High, and I'd love to see all you boys there. Best of luck to Chess and Rugby in their upcoming season. Anyway, now introducing our 2025 first. Oh, I'd also like to introduce Mr. Thompson to the stage. Okay. We got Tom Murphy, number 4. Nick Fernandez Pembroke, number 5. Ethan Easton, number 6. Isaiah Jorgensen, number 7. Vincent Meriveka, number 8. Theo Court, number 9. Tion Townsend, number 10. Ben Goggin, number 12. Archie Stay, number 13. Angus Anderson, number 14. And George Guppy, number 15.
Mr. Thompson, parents, staff and Nudgy men. As we launch into another exciting GPS rugby season, I want to take a moment to reflect on the journey of one of our own, a Nudgy old boy whose rugby story has come full circle in recent days. James O'Connor has just been recalled into the Wallaby squad. What makes this moment so powerful is not that James is back, but it's how he got back. So 12 years ago, and some of you were only just born, he played against the British and Irish Lions in one of the biggest series in world rugby. Since then, his path has been anything but smooth. Injuries, setbacks, public scrutiny, and times when many thought his career was over. James has faced it all. What's defined him hasn't been talent alone. It's been his resilience, his ability to reflect, adapt, and keep working when things didn't go to plan. His refusal to give up on the game he loves. His willingness to grow as a person and a player. For our players, whether you're pulling on the first 15 jersey or in any one of our 39 teams this weekend, James O'Connor's story reminds us of something vital. Your rugby story won't be a straight line. There are boys being presented on stage this morning who played nearly all their younger years in our B, C and D teams. There will be injuries, selections that don't go your way, tough games, missed opportunities. The question is, how will you respond? Will you embrace playing rugby with your mates and not getting too caught up in what team you're in? Will you bounce back if things don't go your way? Will you stay committed to your team, to your mates and your coaches? James O'Connor's return to the Wallaby squad is a celebration of grit. To our 800 players, respect the jersey, respect your coaches, the officials, the opposition. Be a good teammate, be resilient. I'd like to thank all of our coaches, age coordinators, managers for the dedication they have shown to prepare our boys for this season. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the tireless work of our first 15 staff, Mr. Andrew Scottney, Mr. Corey Braithwaite, Mr. Elwie Prinsloo, Mr. Trent Hacking, and Mr. Fabio Westphal for leading and preparing the first 15 squad. It's now my pleasure to invite head coach Mr. Scottney and principal Mr. Scott Thompson to the stage to announce your first 15 for round one with their jerseys.
Mr. Thompson, staff, parents and boys, it gives me great pleasure this morning to present the first 15 rugby squad. These boys have shown a huge amount of self-motivation and discipline in their approach to what has been asked of them so far. This squad has connected well on and off the field, making for an enjoyable pre-season and trial period. The depth of the squad is its strength, and this has been evident through the trials. This gives the coaching staff enormous confidence in that whoever takes the field will do their role. Members of the squad include Harrison McIver, Kobe Washington, Taj Bednall, Jack Burton, Flynn Toomey, James Hannon, Ethan Andrews, Chili Tonelli Smith, Pierre Polu Leluga Agi, Curtis Lambert, Eli Rauluni and Nicholas Cordingley. The team for this Saturday versus Brisbane State High is prop Tito Hamala, prop hooker Isaac Rauluni, hooker Aidan Luke, lock Bennett Armistead, lock Declan Maguire, flanker Ben Dodonna, flanker Finn Curran, flanker Harry Bate, number 8 Tana Graham, halfback William Reardon, .58 Archie Mesritz, inside centre Bond Bradley, outside centre Billy Spicer, wing Ollie Patterson, wing Barry Taukolo, fullback Noah Feen, and centre wing currently injured Ethan Grimshaw. And last of all, our prop and captain for this year, Levi Slater. I'll now ask Levi to say a few words.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, staff, invited guest, and my Nudgy brothers. I stand before you proud, not just of the privilege it is to lead this group, but also to represent the college in this game that we love. Firstly, I'd just like to wish basketball and chess all the best for their up-and-coming seasons and ask that we get around them as a school and as a wider community. I'd also like to thank the efforts of all coaches and everyone who has supported the program during the pre-season, spanning all the way back to the start of the year. State High kicks off our 2025 season, and is more than just a return to the field. It's a chance to finally show what we can accomplish together, fueled by hard work and pride in our school. If you're playing earlier in the day, if you're at a different venue, even if you're not doing anything this weekend, we greatly appreciate your support out at Thurston Road and for the rest of the season. If you remember round 1 last year away at Ipswich, we were able to outnumber them and get the win in what was a tightly contested game, because it truly does make a difference. This morning is not only a team presentation, it's a celebration of who we are, where we come from, and what we represent when we wear the blue and white butcher's stripes. Some of us come from different cities, different states, and from different upbringings. Some of us grew up playing on dusty country fields, others on schoolboy pitches, watching from the grandstand. But this season, we wear the same crest. Rugby doesn't care where you came from. It cares how much you sacrifice and how deeply you care for your teammates. When we walk out onto the field, we represent more than our names. We carry the hopes of our families and every young player who dreams of being in the position to wear this jersey. So I truly am grateful for the opportunity to captain this team. We train hard, not just for ourselves, but for all of you, for everyone who cheers from the grandstand, who believes in us and inspires us to go further. On behalf of the team, thank you for your continued encouragement, and I can't wait to get this season underway. Thank you.
Here we go on the right-hand side. Inside ball. It's just fluke.
To best understand your journey, you need to look beyond the scoreboard, before the trophies were lifted, before the final whistle. That's what everybody sees. To understand what it takes, you need to go back, through the moments that brought you here. The school pride, the spirit of the blue and white. Never forget the injuries, the losses, those times you put your body on the line, when you cheered until you could no longer speak. Before round 1, before the undefeated season, there was the first pass, the first mistake, the first training session. Because success isn't just the destination, it's the journey. And that journey means never forgetting where you started. This is where it begins. Your premiership starts here.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, staff, parents, and men of Nudgee. This year is going to be a big year for Nudgee Chess. It's our year to host the final round, which will see all 9 schools gather here in the conference centre. We're expecting around 350 players, and it'll be a sight to behold. It'll be even more special when we play and beat Terrace in the final round. In the meantime, we hope to see many of you supporting at our other home games during the season. Playing GPS chess can be as stressful as sitting an exam. You can do everything you can to prepare, but on the day, you're sitting there in a quiet room, unable to talk, using all your brain power and focus for 2 hours. As spectators, you can't start a war cry in the middle of the room, but just your presence and a smiling face can make a world of difference when the boys look up and take a break from their game. We hope to see many of you on the top level of Hanley for our first home game in a few weeks against Ipswich. All of our teams have fought hard to be prepared for this year, following the example of the first four. This year's first four has been a mix of experience returning from last year and new blood who've helped re-energise the team. I now invite Mr. Thompson to the stage to present our chess captain with his badge. Our chess captain for 2025 is Tanush Patel. This is Tanush's 5th year in the first four. He's been a member of the first four since he was in year 8, which is a testament to his skill and dedication to chess. He'll continue on board 1 and is the perfect choice to lead us in this monumental year. I now invite Tanush to present the rest of his team.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, coaches, parents, teachers, and my fellow Nudgy brothers. Today, we present a team that has trained intensely on the 8x8 chessboard. From opening preparation to endgame precision, these young men have demonstrated unshakable focus and a hunger to compete at the highest level. This preseason saw record attendance across the program and a commitment to constant improvement. Equally, competition for the first four was fierce this year, with close calls in selection and everyone fighting for their spot. Thank you to those who may not be on stage today, but pushed us all to improve in the first four, who ruthlessly challenged us to be better. Shout out to Hugo Elliott and Lucas Black especially, who played a crucial role in helping us elevate the standards. This week, we face a tough state high and our way, but we really need to see the blue and white army in state high. Boys, we truly need your support to get us over the line. And for the first time in years, I'm proud to say Nudgy Chess steps forward to contend for a GPS premiership. If you're serious about strategic growth, come down and join NC Chess and put your mind to work. Nudgy Chess is about building something, and it's building to last. So without further ado, I'd like to present the first four with their badges. On board 2, we have Ethan Coburn. This is Ethan's 2nd year in the first four. His experience and rational brain has made him our tactical mastermind. Also in his 2nd year in the first four, we have Tejas Ashok. On board 3, Tejas' aggressive and brilliant ideas proved to be a comprehensive threat against all opponents. On board 4, Michael Cusack. Michael's creativity in tearing through defences with raw grit and a deep theoretical understanding of the game is unmatched and has seen him rise 200 rating points over the past year. Backing them up are reserves. First reserve, Archie Spur, a young chess talent who loves to sway the game in his favour and only just missed out on board 4, keeps us all on our toes. And second reserve, Mitchell Keeley, a patient and relentless player who just doesn't give up. Mitchell is continuing the legacy of his brother and captain Will Keeley from last year and has shown us all up this year, winning for Tierney in inter chess. Ladies and gentlemen, your first four for 2025. We wish the best of luck to rugby and basketball this season, and I now invite Mr. Smith to the stage.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, members of CLT, teachers, parents, and my fellow Nudgy brothers. This term, we're introducing a new challenge, a caricature competition. Now, caricature isn't just about drawing funny faces. It's a real art form, one that demands discipline, observation, creativity, and control. This competition is about capturing someone's essence with character, humour, and skill. For those of you who love to draw or want to push your limits and sharpen your technique, this is your chance. Boys, I really encourage all of you to get involved. Pick up a pencil and just give it a go. Whether you win or not, this is a brilliant opportunity to express yourself and create something that you're proud of.
The challenge is simple. You'll be asked to draw a caricature of one of our selected staff members. This year's subjects are the brilliant and beloved Mr. Andrews, Mrs. Howe, Mr. Mara, Mrs. Herod, Mr. Hughes, and Mr. Brearley. If you want to get involved, come along with your pencils ready to Tierney Auditorium on Wednesday, 30th of July. Caricatures must be hand-drawn, no tracing, no digital work, and no AI. Boys may draw as many caricatures as they like during the lunchtime, but only one entry per student will be submitted for judging. Entries are due at the end of week 6 and must be handed into the art department with their full name, year level, and house clearly written on the back. The top 5 entries will be displayed at the Arts Gala, where the community will vote on the winners with prizes awarded. First place, $80 FPOS card. Second place, $50 tuck shop voucher, and a third place of $30 gift card at Officeworks. Thank you, and now I invite Mrs. Smith to the stage.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, colleagues, parents, carers, and gentlemen of Nudgee. Recently, Rock Band 1 and Stage Band travelled to regional Queensland and New South Wales over the holiday break for our annual music tour. The boys performed at 5 schools and enjoyed local food and activities along the way. As always, the Nudgee boys were outstanding ambassadors for our school, sharing their love of music with many students who may not otherwise have the opportunity to learn music, such as the students at St. Joseph's Warrialda, a school with a total enrolment of 60 students, and the principal was a core teacher for half of them. We concluded our tour at St. Mary's Primary School in Casino, which was a true highlight. We lived up to our reputation, getting 600 students up to their feet, dancing and having fun. Thank you to everyone who helped make this trip possible, including the admissions department, transport department, development and communications team, Mr. Brearley and the boarding department, and of course the college leadership team. Please enjoy this short video with highlights from the tour.
Good morning to our invited guests and our wonderful families who are here with us today, to the young men in Shore, my very valued colleagues, and of course the men of Nudgee College. Good morning, gents. It's been a wonderful assembly to this point, but I just ask for your attention just while we wrap things up with myself, and Miss Hale will follow my little speech this morning. So a very warm welcome back to all of you. I hope that you had an incredibly restful holiday. I know for many of you it was very busy, packed with lots of activities, many of those Nudgee based, so thank you very much for your commitment there. I'd also like to extend a very warm welcome to our new students. We had a number of boys who commenced their Nudgee journey yesterday.
both in boarding and the day school. So as I do every term, we always are lucky enough to invite to have new students start their journey with us. So I ask that all of those who encounter them make sure that you extend a very warm welcome. We all know how daunting it can be when you start at any new place. So please extend that warmth of welcome and care as they move around the school and get to know how it is to be a Nudgee student. It's a wonderful start to term already, and our assembly here shows us that, and it was great to acknowledge the wonderful achievements from term 2, but also acknowledge what comes ahead of us in term 3. Thanks, Michael, for your wonderful speech, and talking of resilience, we know that you yourself, you've battled a lot of different injuries and challenges across your journey in your time at Nudgee, so it's wonderful that you used those two brilliant examples of both Rob and Caitlin Clark. They're great examples of people who have overcome challenges, they've learnt from those difficulties, and they've become better people and better athletes for it. We have in term 3 probably, without doubt, the most number of students who will be involved in any activities across the year. So we have a large number of boys involved in the basketball, our chess, and also our rugby program. And so it's important that everybody understands that, like we heard, and Levi spoke beautifully to it, the fact that when you represent Nudgee, you're not entitled to do that. It doesn't just, when you enrol, it doesn't sort of come on a golden platter. It's important that you realise that it is a privilege to put on the blue and white, to represent this great school. And it takes that commitment. So commitment throughout the week, and it's not just what happens on the Friday afternoon or the Saturday that matters. So it's important that you understand that, and I want you to ensure that the people that accompany you on that journey, so all those wonderful coaches and parents that help make that happen, that you're very thankful. Take the opportunities wherever possible to show your sincere appreciation. It was great that we finished off with the music video there, because in the first full week of your holidays, both Mr. Mara and I were able to travel down and meet up with the music tour down in Casino. And it was great for me to go back there, because I actually lived in Casino for 5 years and worked at one of the schools down there called St Mary's Catholic College. And so as you saw there was over 650 primary school students in Casino who you could say were pretty bursting with enthusiasm at our band. And the boys did a wonderful job of showcasing all that is good about Nudgee and the many different facets and pathways and avenues that your interests can take, where your interests can take you. Because remember, it's about that opportunity that you provided. Now, I don't normally take requests on assemblies, and Michael spoke a little bit to this, but during the wonderful formal that we had on Sunday night, and I do need to extend a thank you to all of the Year 12 boys involved in that. It was a great evening, great spirit throughout the night, and I hope that you had a good time. I know that the staff that were present certainly had a good time, and we thank you on behalf of all of them. Thank you for the way you conducted yourself. But as I said, I don't normally take requests, but in a conversation with our chess captain, who you recently heard from, he said, "Are you going to talk about the Premiership quarter?" And I said, well, no, that's sort of done a fair bit. But anyway, in honour of Tanush, I will mention and reiterate the importance of term 3 and what can occur in term 3. And it is a big term in many different ways. You've just received your semester 1 report, and hopefully you've taken on board any of the feedback that you've seen in that report. For our Year 12s, of course, this is your final full term of formal schooling. So there's a lot of things that can occur during this term and will occur during this term. But for each of our Year 12 boys, I ask you to really cherish every single moment. I know it is difficult. It seems like the finish is so far away. Some of you might be in countdown mode, others of you may be thinking of all the things you've got to do prior to that wonderful graduation, those wonderful rites of passage that we have here at Nudgee. But I implore you at different times just to stop and show that gratitude and thanks for those relationships that you've built across these many years at Nudgee and the time that you've had at Nudgee College. So it's really important that you do that. For everyone in the CBCC and up in Tierney Auditorium, the Shore Boys, it's important that you also set some goals. So take on board what was written in your report Reflect upon how you've been as a student during semester one and think about how you can be better. During the holidays, I came across it was actually my wonderful wife, Janita, pointed out a T-shirt. I don't often look at this particular brand, but I know that lots of people do buy a lot of the apparel and everything, and being at the Gold Coast Marathon the other week, there was a lot of this stuff around as well. But LSKD, Loose Kid Industries. And on that T-shirt, there was this quote that really stuck out. "We rise by lifting others." Now, it was originally written by an author and social commentator from America called Robert Ingersoll. He died in 1899. And I'd really like this to become a bit of a focus in term 3. We rise by lifting others. And it's important that you understand what it means. Understand that by focusing on others, you and we as a community are going to very greatly benefit. In researching where that quote came from, I sort of looked into Robert Ingersoll, and whilst I don't agree with his religious beliefs, I also came across this other quote. And I think it's a really important one too, and it backs up that little bit about others. And it'll pop up on the screen in a moment, but it goes, "Happiness is the only good. The time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. The way to be happy is to make others so." The way to be happy is to make others so. What can you do to make others happy? And me as a principal of a school, I see my responsibility. There's two main things that I'm responsible for. And hopefully parents send you to this school knowing that that's my main goal. First and foremost, to try and provide a safe environment for every single boy and every single person who works here. So safety is paramount. The second thing is to ensure that there is something in every day that every student has to look forward to. Now, for many of you, it may be particular subjects. For some of you, it might be lunchtime. For some of you, it might be the extracurricular things that we are privileged to be involved in. But it's important that happiness is a very important part of who we are. So, what am I asking of you at the moment? It's important that you seek ways to make others better for their encounter with you. One good example of this came in Sunday's Gospel. So Sunday's Gospel was the Good Samaritan. Many of you would be aware of the story of the Good Samaritan. So it's about a man, for those that don't know, who's attacked by robbers and left injured on the road. A priest and a Levite, both highly regarded in Jewish tradition, both see him but pass on the other side of the road without helping. However, a Samaritan, considered to be an outsider by the Jewish society, he stops and he tends to the man. He takes care of the man. He transports the man to an inn. He pays for his care and recuperation. Covers all costs that were incurred there. So the parable teaches that mercy and kindness should guide our behaviour, regardless of who the other person is. And that's a really important part of this. We are a highly diverse community here at Nudgee College. Again, I referenced Levi's talk there as captain of the first 15, where he spoke to the diverse backgrounds that all members come from. And that's replicated across the entire school. So regardless of the differences that you have, it's important that you show those qualities of mercy and kindness to others. I reference one other example before I finish up. Pope Leo XIV, our newly elected Pope, and we've spoken about him a couple of weeks ago. He was elected as our leader of the 1.4 billion Catholics that are on earth. And a month ago, on June, I think the date's there, June 15, he was in a video link-up to a Catholic youth gathering at his beloved. He's an absolute fanatic for the Chicago White Sox baseball team. And he spent many of his days as a young man at Comiskey Park. So A, it was great that he was able to do that, but B, for those young people to see someone who had sat in the seats where they were. And he quoted St. Augustine, one of the incredible saints of our church, when he said to the young people, if we want the world to be a better place, we have to start with ourselves. And so, in starting with yourself. I've got 4 practical things that you can do this term to ensure that together we're helping this community rise. I know Ms Hale will focus on a couple of those points, but I just want to go through these quickly. So straight from our classroom culture, respect the learning of self and of others. So that's a really important part to note. Secondly, show ample amounts of gratitude. Seek opportunities to say thank you and show others that you appreciate what they've done for you. Third, and this goes back to what Mr. Wall was talking about, and a very important line in the Hail Mary, that important prayer that we all prayed together. Be graceful, that word grace. Hail Mary, full of grace. Be graceful in defeat and humble in victory. When a team is down 100 points to 0, they know they're down. You don't need to rub it in. And likewise, if you lose, you show grace to your opponents. And finally, be kind to others. It's really important that you be the person that others look forward to seeing. It's pretty easy to make other people's day better for having been in your presence. Thank you, gents. I look forward to the term that lays before us. Have a wonderful term and a wonderful week ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, staff, parents and nudgy men. Welcome back to term 3. I've definitely got the best slot on assembly, which is the one that holds you here a little bit longer, but I've timed my speech and it is just over 4 minutes, so I am requesting your attention, full attention for the 4 minutes, please, gentlemen. It is wonderful to see you all back at school after I hope was a restful and enjoyable mid-year break. This term, I want us to focus on a value that sits at the heart of who we are as a college community: respect. Respect is a word that gets used a lot. We talk about respecting teachers, respecting each other, respecting the rules. But let me ask you this: what does respect actually look like? Not just in the classroom, but on the sporting field, in the dorms, out in the schoolyard, where sometimes the rules seem further away and choices are completely in your hands. In semester 1, we spoke a lot about the culture in our classrooms. This morning, I want to focus specifically on the spaces outside the classroom, the schoolyard. The yard is a shared space. It's a place for connection, play, and downtime. But it's also a place where our values are most visible. Respect in the schoolyard means listening to staff directions the first time, not arguing, not rolling your eyes, not walking away. It means staying in the designated spaces, not pushing boundaries because you think no one is watching. It's wearing your hat, not because you're told to, but because you understand the importance of setting the right tone and keeping yourself safe. It means picking up after yourself, not leaving a mess for someone else to deal with. It means treating the spaces and the equipment around you with care and remembering that they're there for everyone. When you ignore these basic rules, it's not about breaking guidelines. It's about sending a message that you don't respect the people around you, the staff who work hard for you, and the environment that you're a part of. If a staff member speaks to you, listen, respectfully respond. Even if you don't agree, there is no excuse for being rude or dismissive. But here's the truth. Respecting others is part of respecting yourself. It shows maturity. It shows character. And when you respect the rules, even the small ones, you help create a culture where everyone feels safe, supported, and proud to be a part of this wonderful college. So as we begin term 3, I challenge you to make the yard a place where respect is just not spoken, but lived through your choices, through how you treat others, and through how you respond when someone calls you to a higher standard. In a bid to make morning tea and lunch a time where you can enjoy being outside, to simply sit with friends or run around in an open space, but most importantly, do so safely and while respecting everyone around you, we will be introducing some changes to break time locations this term. The biggest change is Wilkes. Wilkes is a much-loved space to kick a footy and run around with your mates, but it is becoming overcrowded. So from next week, Wilkes will be a space for Year 7, Year 10, and Year 11 students only. Year 8 and Year 9, your open space will be flat 1. For students in Year 12 who like to have a game of soccer, you will be able to use the scoreboard corner of Ross Oval. I will discuss this further with Year 12s at your cohort assembly on Friday. In making these adjustments to break time locations, we hope to provide spaces that everyone can enjoy in a safe manner. We will monitor these locations throughout the term and make changes if necessary. In closing, I wish you all a wonderful term and look forward to you rising to the challenge to ensure our shared spaces are spaces that everyone feels safe, connected, and respected. Thank you. That was definitely 4 minutes. Thank you. And then I'll just move quickly on to the week ahead before I call on Ben Didonna for 3 cheers. So this week, gents, a reminder, it's already been spoken to about Michael, our social justice activities. Please ensure that you are using this term to sign on to maybe something that you haven't already done. Thank you. Student formation this week is pretty simple. Year 12s, you are in T&E for an assembly, and then our remainder of our students are in your SF classrooms as normal. We've spoke a lot about this term's extracurricular activities. I wish all of the boys participating this weekend in their respective activities. I wish you all the best. And then finally, a reminder, which I will do again next week, but our Bear Cave will open officially next Wednesday. And a reminder that the Bear Cave is a space where you can come, spend some time with some of our senior students and feel connected with each other. So, as mentioned, I welcome Senior Ben Didonna for 3 cheers. Thank you, Ben. Parents, I'd love to give you the opportunity to sneak out before the crowd, so if you'd like to make a move. Gentlemen, we are just a slightly over schedule, so you will obviously make a quick walk up the hill to your Period 2 classes. So we will start with McKenna. Raoul, could you turn the light down, please?